Coming up tonight on STLFC Insider, we're past the midway point in the 2016 USL regular season, and STLFC center back has been on the pitch for every minute of it.
Being able to be from St. Louis and grow up playing here at the soccer park and playing with some of these guys and playing under our coaches means everything to me.
We'll take you behind the shield with AJ Cochran. In this week's edition of Dan's Dozen, I asked the boys to name their greatest accomplishment. That's straight ahead. Plus, midfielder and coffee connoisseur Jacob Bushu takes us on a tour of Caldi's Coffee.
Irvin, I don't want to hear anything about you being homesick. You can get some good El Salvador coffee right here.
And finally, we've got your USL Goals of the Week. That's all coming up next on STLFC Insider. Welcome, Fleur-de-Lis faithful, to another episode of STLFC Insider. I'm your host, Daniel Kohler. While the heat in St. Louis has been almost unbearable at times, St. Louis FC has just the thing to help you cool off with our Beat the Heat pack, which includes 6 tickets and a cooler backpack for just $69. Or you can try the Grade 8 pack with 8 tickets and a Visa gift card for just $99. Visit stlouisfc.com. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to get drafted in the first round of the MLS Super Draft, we've got your inside track with St. Louis native AJ Cochran. Let's go behind the shield.
Cochran, long ball, top of the 18, looking for Lynch. Defensively, that was Cochran getting his head in front of that shot.
Well, it's AJ Cochran again. The central part of defense, very valuable.
A fantastic experience at CBC, my 4 years there. Got to play varsity for 3 of them under Coach Mickler, and my junior year we really had a special group. We beat Vianney, I think, in the quarterfinals in overtime, and then went on to the state championship to play St. Louis University High, which couldn't have been a better setup for us, and got to play out on our field in front of close to 6,000 fans, I think, and obviously, ended up winning 1-0. So it was pretty much a dream come true, and Jake Bond scored the game-winning goal. I was leaving the University of Wisconsin my junior year as a Generation Adidas player, and pretty much, in Philadelphia for the coaches convention, walked in, and there was a ton of people there. I mean, it was very surreal because it's something, you look forward to from since I was, a young kid, that my ultimate goal was to become a professional soccer player. So, in there, and all the bright lights and all the MLS coaches were in front of us with, all the tables, and they were running back from table to table, trades and everything. And it was just a very, very cool experience. I'm sitting there with my family and some close friends, and sat there through the first round and waited to see where I was going to go. Saw Houston Dynamo, at the 16th pick, and I looked at my dad and I was like, that would be awesome. Go join Will Bruin and Brad Davis and Steve Ralston, 3 fellow St. Louis guys. And once they announced my name, I couldn't have been happier, and truly a dream come true. In my off time, I really like to enjoy going outside and outdoors. I have a lake house in Potosi, Missouri. Got a 22-acre lake with, a nice pontoon to go out there and fish for bass, catfish, bluegill, and just kind of grew up doing it. We got 4-wheelers, ATVs, and just kind of grew up being outside a lot. For me, it's just really just quality time with my dad, honestly. And that's what I really enjoy the most about it, and my friends. I know a lot of my friends like to enjoy fishing and go there and get away from the game mentally, and I think that's very important. When you invest so much of your time and so much of your emotions into the game, you have to be able to get away from it. Yesterday I was asked, what's it like playing in front of, the St. Louis crowd and, friends and family, and it means everything to me. I grew up in this city and playing in the academy, and you really want to continue to put St. Louis soccer on the map because we got such a rich history about it, and being able to be from St. Louis and grow up playing here at the soccer park and playing with some of these guys and playing under our coaches, I just want to go out there every game and try to get the fans coaches, teammates 3 points and help do that. So it's been an honor and a privilege, and you know, we're continuing to work hard to get this team into the playoffs and take it as far as we can. I'm AJ Cochran from St. Louis, Missouri, and I play for St. Louis FC.
And next week, we will go behind the shield with midfielder Brandon Barklage. And don't forget, Wednesday, August 3rd is STL FC Gives Back Night. We've got 3 different ways you can get involved. Visit stlouisfc.com to find out how you can participate. Stick around. We've got much more to come on STL FC Insider.
Getting married and having a child, that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Tasting coffee and cupping, we want to kind of try to slurp and aspirate the coffee over our whole palate. There you go.
James drove his RAV4 hybrid into no man's land and rescued a group of stranded enthusiasts. He was invited to join the crew, but left in search of potable water. How far will you take the RAV4 hybrid? Toyota, let's go places.
We've all seen the boys achieve quite a lot so far this season. But this week, I sat down to ask the players what their greatest accomplishments were. Let's check out this edition of Dan's Dozen.
Probably getting my degree from the University of Notre Dame. Yeah, I think, you know, college is extremely important to me, and, you know, the University of Notre Dame was always a dream of mine, so that's probably number 1.
Finishing school. I mean, we don't do college or anything, but it's just high school, but, you know, I managed to finish it even though I left halfway through the year because I went pro. So I managed to finish that.
Probably making my debut for Swansea in the English Championship. That was the highlight of my career, I think.
Probably just making it to the professional level. That was always my dream.
I would say signing my first professional contract. Went over to Sweden.
My first professional contract, I mean, that's huge. That was, again, that's been the goal for a long time, and to be able to have signed that, especially in St. Louis, was a huge accomplishment for me.
Moved to the United States, and then I signed a pro contract, and then I'm still doing what I like to do. I think that's the highlight of my life. Yeah.
You know, all the little achievements, add them up, and you know, that put me to where I am right now, playing for St. Louis FC. You know, I'm at a happy place right now.
Accomplishment I'm most proud of. You know, turning professionally. Growing up in a country like Zimbabwe, you know, playing soccer, all everybody wanted to do is play professional soccer, and I think turning pro is definitely my proudest moment.
Probably getting married and having a child, that's a pretty big accomplishment, so that's been special for me, and you know, just raising my son is trying to raise him the right way. It's important to me, so yeah, that's probably one of my best accomplishments.
Stay tuned. Much more coming up on STLFC Insider. And introducing new this summer, Ale Fleur 1, brewed by Kirkwood Station Brewing Company. Ale Fleur 1 is an American session IPA made exclusively for St. Louis FC. Be sure to check out stlouisfc.com for more information on where you can find Ale Fleur 1 this summer. A portion of the proceeds for Ale Fleur 1 sales will be donated to charity. From personal experience, you don't want to miss out on trying this beer. Well, hopefully at this point in the episode, you don't need a pick-me-up. But if you do, we've got just what you need. Here is Jacob Bouchou with a tour of Caldy's Coffee.
Hey, Jacob.
How's it going?
Steve, nice to meet you. Welcome to Caldy's. Cup of coffee, Jacob.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Let's take the tour. This is what we call our coffee talk room. We have this mural from the Missouri History Museum, and that's, you know, the skyline of St. Louis made out of roasted and unroasted coffee. Let's go in the production area and see some coffee being roasted.
Let's do it.
Welcome to our production facility. This is where we roast all the coffee for our whole company. What's your favorite coffee, Jacob?
I gotta go with the Espresso 700.
Espresso 700.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of my favorites as well. David's actually roasting that right now. We roast all our coffee by hand. That trier is where we are smelling the roast throughout the entire process. The coffee comes out of the roaster around 400 degrees. Once the coffee is roasted, we have to bag it up. We have two different ways we bag our coffee. One is 5-pound bags for cafes and restaurants. And then over here we have our 12-ounce bagging line where we do stuff for grocery stores and retail sale. Every bag is stickered and bagged by hand. This is a brand new fresh coffee we have from El Salvador.
Irvin, I don't want to hear anything about you being homesick. You can get some good El Salvador coffee right here.
All right, Jacob, so we're going to do what we call coffee cupping, and this is the industry standard for tasting and grading and pricing coffee. So the first step of coffee cupping, pour some water over these cups. Standard brewing is here, 10 grams of coffee, 6 ounces of water, evaluating the aroma. This is a huge part of understanding how this coffee is going to taste. As they've been brewing and sitting here, you can see a little crust is forming on the top, and there's some bubbles, which is a sign that the coffee is really fresh. We're just going to get really close, get your spoon in there, and a lot of aroma is going to come out from underneath that crust, and it's going to really give us an idea of what that coffee has to offer as far as taste. So now we're ready to taste some coffee. When we're tasting coffee and cupping, we want to kind of try to slurp and aspirate the coffee over our whole palate. There you go. We're looking for sweetness and acidity and a really nice, vibrant, fruity flavor naturally from these coffees. Now that we've tasted both, do you have a favorite?
I gotta go with the 700.
Okay, still a 700 fan.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Jacob, it was really nice having you down here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Get the latest scores, stats, and updates via the St. Louis FC mobile app. St. Louis FC is the first team in the USL to launch an app, and you can find it in the iTunes Store. Download yours today. And we'll close today's episode with the best of the best. Here are your USL goals of the week.
Ray, their best player, one of their top scorers. Here's a shot, score! Arizona United shot, score! Cortez, the laser beam.
Good through ball, looking for the shot, and a third goal, and we have a hat trick. Memo Rodriguez, what a movement of the ball from side to side.
Heavy touch there from Hollingsworth and got away from him.
Now here's Janae with a lot of space.
Janae.
Sergio Campbell off his line, and there's a shot and a goal.
Well played
Sonny
from
Janae.
Sonny Janae, well done.
Nice play through the midfield and makes it count. Gets it past Vargas, who was diving to him.
Once again, that danger through the box, open net. Stagmiller comes out with a save. Shot again over Stagmiller and in the back of the net.
Oh, thanks.
That was a terrific finish. We're level at 2.
I'll tell you what, I was different class.
Granite Navy. See Thompson getting ahead on it there, and Herzog gets some space. Here's Kevin Kerr with open space, and he puts it in.
That's what we needed.
That's exactly what they needed.
Definitely. Kerr, no man. I said, this is it. You know, you could.
And that brings another episode of STL FC Insider to a close. On behalf of all of us here at St. Louis FC TV and the rest of the Fleur de Lis faithful, thanks for watching.